Today's tropical weather update is brought to you by State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. It's the 22nd day of July 2025. I'm meteorologist Leonard Josiah with a look at your tropical weather update. Well, it's a quiet start so far to the 2025 hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center is saying tropical cyclone activity is not expected within the next 7 days. Yesterday, my colleague Letitia spoke to you about an area of disturbed weather that was located just to the east of Barbados. But what has become of AL94? Well, AL94 succumbed to the dry and harsh weather conditions, and I'm going to be talking to you about that for right now. Here we are the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Islands further towards the south, which include Barbados, Trinidad, and Tobago. We're looking further towards the west, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Cuba. Yeah, some clouds right here over Bahamas, but all of that is not necessarily tropical in nature. But I'm peering not only from the Leeward Islands, I'm carrying you all the way out to the coast of Africa, and all this expanse right here is the main development area. Well, the main development area, we have signs that it's becoming alive, and that particular area is what we're going to be paying closer attention to. 3 tropical waves. We're looking at a tropical wave just emerging off the coast of Africa, one right here, and this is what we call the remnants of AL94. Already you're seeing, some clouds are associated with it, but some of those clouds, they're not necessarily deep in nature, and because of that, the stability of the atmosphere, particularly just to the north of that particular area, is really impacting the remnants of AL94. So what we're seeing right here is not necessarily in the way of a tropical cyclone development, so there are no coastal watches or warnings in the context of tropical cyclone at this stage, and none of these tropical waves, particularly this one here, is very weak. The models are suggesting that this one may do something in the days ahead, but that is so far out. We're going to be paying closer attention to that during the course of next week. But let's have some discussion on AL94 for this morning. Let's look at your satellite imagery, the visible satellite imagery, more so the reflectiveness of the clouds that the satellite is reading. And you're seeing some day here. Now it's daytime. We're seeing some patches of low-level clouds right here streaking towards the west. And along with that, you're seeing the dusty murkiness of the atmosphere just to the north of AL94. This is indicative of the dry and harshness. Yeah, the dustiness is right there, but the harshness of the atmosphere in the context of what we call moisture levels have really impacted AL94, and already you're seeing some of the clouds right there and necessarily succumbing to the dryness and the harshness of the atmosphere. But let's talk a little bit more about what we can expect in the context of these tropical waves, and we are looking at the terms of the development in the next couple of days. Well, this here is what we call the ECMWF model shear report as of this morning. We want to pay closer attention to the atmospheric conditions in the context of deep layered shear. When we're talking about shear, we're talking about the wind flow in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and those clouds, whether or not they will be able to succumb to what this shear is. So right here, we're looking at this area of shear right here. The red means that is high level shear, and the blue means light shear. We are right here in the Eastern Caribbean. So AL94, I've given you a line right here. AL94 is in what we call light to moderate shear, is not necessarily being impacted by this. So in the context of lighter shear, some of those clouds are able to grow at least. So for us this morning, AL94 right there, and by tomorrow it moves further towards the island chain, still in lighter shear. But take a look at where the real deep layered shear is really over the northern coastal Atlantic, and even those waves that are coming off the coast of Africa, if they migrate towards the north, they're going to be running into this shear. This shear is not going to allow them to go. As a matter of fact, this is so hostile territory that the clouds are just going to be ripped apart. But further towards the south, in the main development area, the shear, there are signs that the shear is abating a bit, and you can see it right here. So take it right across to the island chain. You're looking at the Leeward Islands, but islands further towards the south, lighter wind flows. So some of these clouds will be able to blossom up into the atmosphere, and the shear would not necessarily impact it. But if it moves further towards the north tomorrow, definitely the shear conditions are definitely more hostile. So if the shear is light, why then those clouds are not necessarily growing? We're going to be paying close attention to the moisture, the deep layered moisture. And already you're looking at the European model, deep layered moisture. So you're looking at the brown right here is the dry atmospheric conditions, AL94. Take a look at it. In the next couple of days, moving towards the west, but the moisture content is just going to fizzle out. Why? All this dry air is actually impacting or undercutting the low-level moisture. And because of that, the middle-level moisture is not allowing those clouds to grow at all. And those clouds are just succumbing to the harsh, dry atmospheric conditions, at least going on to the forecast. So you're looking at right here is AL94. And already you're not seeing the deep layered moisture growing at all. It's just fizzling out as it moves on towards the west. But for us in the Eastern Caribbean islands of the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands, all this brown, it's going to be just keeping AL94 towards the south, and most of the energy in the context of moisture is forecast to move on towards the west. And for the next couple of days, all this dry air will be impacting us in the Leeward Islands. There are signs that some stronger tropical wave. Take a look at one right here, moving towards the west. Yeah, but as it moves towards the west, wants to develop something according to the European model. But again, the dry air is infiltrating it and undercutting of those clouds. Let's take a closer attention to the American model. Same thing. We're looking at right now AL94 moving further towards the west. There are signs that the moisture level in the context of the American model is saying that the moisture over the southern Windward Islands, Barbados, and the Trinidad and Tobago will be potent enough to give them some good rain showers, some of which can be moderate to locally heavy. That moisture content of the atmosphere, take a look at AL94, is not forecast to come towards the north until it merges with another tropical wave sometime during the day on Monday, going on into Tuesday, when the better chances of showers around the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands will be its highest again. But take a look at AL94 succumbing to the dry atmospheric conditions. Then comes some moisture during the course of the weekend, and that might just give us the better chance. Take a look at the main development area all the way out to Africa, and already you're seeing some of these waves becoming more potent. Take a look at this area of low pressure right here that might want to form in the next couple of days. See it right here, and moving further towards the west, but again running into some drier atmospheric conditions. The harshness of the atmosphere is also high for right now, and it's not necessarily allowing those clouds to form. Well, closer to home right now on the outside, you would have gotten some passing showers if you're in the Leeward Islands this morning, indicative of just some patches of low-level clouds. Some moisture is embedded, yeah, but for us in the British Virgin Islands, even further towards the west, high pressure out into the northern Atlantic, the winds are pushing some of those clouds across our local area. But take a look at the haze. Some of that haziness is still with us. So those individuals who are susceptible to the little allergies, etc., the haze is not necessarily too strong, but it's just enough for you to realize that some of those haze can impact us. AL94 right here, the tropical wave associated with it. There are some signs that the clouds are already weakening. Why? Because of the dryness of the atmosphere. The next couple of hours is forecast to move on towards the west, mainly over the southern Windward Islands, Barbados, and the Trinidad and Tobago, maybe far north as Dominica. But we are not necessarily forecasting that across the Leeward Islands, particularly until maybe Sunday, when we have some lingering moisture associated with AL94. Remember that if you're on the outside, please send a pic or two to us. We want to engage with you. Your eyes are our eyes. Send those pics to abmsiwatch at gmail.com, abmsiwatch at gmail.com. And remember, we are on the necessary platforms so you can engage with us. We are on we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on X. We are your friends, the Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services. If you are in Antigua, remember the hotline number. Even remember the website. All of that information is there for you to continue to monitor with us and for you to stay ready. The weather will always change, and yes, definitely you got to respond to the weather. So you can say it with me, weather your weather in spite of the weather, whether you like it or not. I'm Leonard Josiah, wishing you a safe and productive Tuesday. Today's tropical weather update has been brought to you by State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind.